Thank you for coming by Tory Magoo 44. Today's the 27th of September 2015, and I very much appreciate you guys coming to my YouTube site. I have a bunch of different topics that I've been wanting to talk about. One of them that is a huge success story in my life, not having to do with Scientology, is losing 100 pounds and keeping it off for 5 years without cooking and really without professionally exercising. I mean, moving, but not exercising like at a gym or something like that. And so anyway, I was going to start a whole separate channel on that. And then I just thought there's probably enough people on my YouTube site that could gain some knowledge from this. And if you can't, if there's no one, you could even pass it on to someone that you think it might. So anyway, I'm going to do this video today. So for years and years and years, I worked on losing weight. My mother, when I was 13, I think, my mother was a model. And I think at 13, she said, I think you've gained 5 pounds. We need to put you on a diet. And she did. And I spent the rest of my life dieting, losing weight, and I actually dieted my way up to 100 pounds overweight. Now, part of that, a big part of that for me, was being in the cult of Scientology. And it's like a triangle, and the higher up you get, actually the worse it gets. It doesn't really work. It costs a ton of money. There's tons of information on my YouTube site, Tony Ortega's site, tonyortega.org. I'll put a link in here, Xenu TV, Xenu.net. There's tons of information about Scientology on the internet and mind control, Lermanet.net, etc. And I'll put some of the links in here on all those websites. But the point is, for me, it didn't work. And the higher up I got, the worse it got. And the more they would say, why don't you go have something to eat? Because in Scientology, as in any cult or abusive relationship, people try to isolate you and shut you off from the real world, right? Because other people, if you really talk to them, would say, why are you doing this? And they don't want you thinking about that. So for me, it just got worse and worse and worse. And I started eating more and more and more. And it didn't work at all for me. So it was awful. I mean, it worked for me in the lower part in the early days. But then as I got into the OT levels, which is the most expensive and that doesn't really work. And it was awful. So my solution was to eat. At 53, I realized, you know what? I don't know how to eat for a day. I don't know how to eat for one day and go to bed, go to sleep, and feel like I had a good day. I didn't. So I checked myself into what I mean, they don't have a check-in thing, but as far as like Alcoholics Anonymous, but I felt kind of like an alcoholic. Like I was like Homer Simpson driving around, donuts, fast food, this and that. It was awful. It was just awful. And I had all these delusions where I would be like, which is why I think it's important to have it on this site, because Scientology, cults, abusive relationships all deal with delusion. That's what it is. You delude yourself. It's like a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. And it's very true of people overweight too. They don't really want to see how bad it is. They know it's bad. I knew it was bad. I knew I was overweight. I knew I was way overweight. But honestly, I didn't know how to eat. That's really what it was. I knew how to diet, but I didn't know how to eat. So I joined Weight Watchers actually to learn how to eat. And they taught me how to eat. And it was really fantastic. And you don't have to buy their food, and I never did. I decided, I'm not going to buy their food because eventually you'll go back to eating your own way, and then I'll gain back the weight. The other thing I did, they have a thing called goal weight where you kind of finally hit whatever your goal should be. And at that point, you don't have to pay for it or anything. And so I asked the people at goal weight, what do you guys do? Because there were about, I think, five people there that were at goal weight at the time. Now there's many more in my little group. And I asked them, and they said, we come every week. That's what it is. And the lady that helped me was a lady named Flora. And she used to say all the time, if you don't check in, you check out. And you know what? It's very, very true. It sounds very simple, but it's so true. It's like she talked a lot about making a better choice. Scientology made me feel like I was crazy because I was sort of talking to myself, right? Having thoughts. And my last CS or thing I was supposed to do was see if you can walk down the street and not think about your case. Now, really and truthfully, I talked to some very highly trained people that had left Scientology, and they said that is the weirdest, dumbest CS program they'd ever heard, right? It's like, don't think about an elephant, right? Boom, there it is. And that was the last thing. I was like, that's it. I'm done with this forever, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It still took me 3 years to actually wake up and escape out of there, which is a whole nother thing. And I have tons of videos on this about it. And if you want to see the escape in particular, just type in Tory Magoo 44 + escape. And I did a 10-part series. I think in my 10th anniversary, I did a 10-part series about escaping out, what happened, how I woke up, that kind of thing. But as far as Weight Watchers, I joined it and I did start coming every single week, and I still go every single week because you know what? It does help you kind of just make a better decision. And there's tons of other information on it, but I just wanted to let people know I did lose 100 pounds. I don't cook. So people always say, well, what do you eat? And a lot of it is I go to Trader Joe's and I get pre-mixed salads. I eat yogurt and nuts. I eat a lot of stuff. I eat desserts. I eat a lot of stuff, but they're smaller portions. That's what Weight Watchers teaches you to do is just eat. Eat whatever you want, but eat smaller portions. And you get so many points a day you can spend. Now they have vegetables and fruits are free. They're 0 points. So you can actually eat a lot of food. And I like to eat. So there you go. So anyway, I hope this helps someone out there. Don't feel like you need to diet. Dieting is not the solution. It really isn't. A gentleman Thursday night said he just lost 65 pounds. And he said he was in another diet that he joined where you couldn't have watermelon or bananas. And he said, I have now lost 65 pounds and I get to eat bananas and watermelons. And, I know it sounds, for people who don't know this kind of thing, they're like, who cares? But for people who do, they're going to go, ooh, really? And I'm going to do something once a week on this, on just health and fitness and that kind of thing. So there you go. I love you guys. Thank you for coming to my YouTube site. I hope you enjoy it. Please give me some feedback. Let me know if you care about it, if you don't care about it. Either way, I'm very happy to hear about it. And there you go. Have a wonderful week and the rest of it. And remember, tonight is a fantastic moon. So make sure to go outside and look. All right, there you go. Peace out.